So, hi everyone. I'm on with Jared today. So, honestly, Jared, you can do a better introduction of yourself than I can. But so, Jared, tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, where you're located, a little bit about yourself and your background doing UGC, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
All right. So my name is Jared Brubaker. I live in Salt Lake City and in Los Angeles, but I'm home based in Salt Lake City. And I have been doing UGC now for, checked back, about a year and 4 months is what it looks like when I started. So, and it's been very, quite a journey. It's been exciting. It's been a lot of fun, stressful in sometimes, but overall, it's been a crazy fun experience, and I'm absolutely loving it. Have a couple, a dog, a cat, married, teen son. I use all of them in my content, so they're very helpful.
That's awesome. So, how did you first discover UGC?
I was in Barcelona and had a lot of time on my hands. I had gone out there with my son and to play. He was playing soccer, and so I just had a lot of time on my hands. And I was scrolling through TikTok one day, and I saw a post of a creator talking about brands really needing older Gen X creators. And I was an actor in my previous life a long time ago when I was younger. I've since gotten back into it, but so I'm always comfortable in front of the camera and sounded like something that would be fun to do to fill some time while I was out there in Barcelona. And I was like, great, let's give it a go. And so started doing just a little bit of research, started watching more content about UGC on TikTok. And that is kind of how I started. And I think I can't remember exactly how I got my first gig, but I did, I think 5 or 6 projects while I was in Barcelona. And then I moved back to Salt Lake, and then from there it just took off. I signed up to a couple of platforms, started applying to jobs and sending in pitches, and just kind of waterfalled from there.
Yeah, and that's very interesting background. So, you came from an acting background, I guess, like right before you even started UGC, like a year and 4 months ago. Like, what were you kind of doing?
Oh, I ran a recruiting company, global recruiting company. I was totally corporate. I wasn't corporate, but it was a very corporate esque job, right? All my employees, we all worked remote. We didn't have an office. So, but yeah, we did recruiting for tech companies, medical device companies, kind of all over the place. Didn't really have a niche, but more on the tech side. And I'd been doing that for 20, at that point, it was about 23 years. So I'd been in the recruiting space for a long time.
And now are you UGC like full time, or what are you doing?
Yes, I would say full time. I still do recruiting. I haven't put as much effort into it because I am doing UGC a lot. I'm probably shooting on average 3 to 4 projects a day now, and I'm also acting. So I got back into acting full time. Well, I shouldn't say full time. I got back into acting, but I've been working pretty extensively. I fly to LA every 10 days, every 2 weeks for a week to 10 days out there, shoot some film or TV projects or commercial. I've also done some UGC on site. I've shot out in LA. I've shot in Vegas. I'm going to Toronto at the end of September for 5 days to shoot with an agency out there on like 6 different brands. So yeah, so I'm kind of mixing a little of everything all together, and very very busy, but loving it.
100%. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like you had a pretty like dramatic, a little bit journey from like acting and then tech and then UGC and then kind of like it was kind of crazy. So, with that being said, like before you met like us at the UGC Academy, like about was it maybe 4 months ago, something like that? What was your strategy like back then? Like how were you approaching brands like back then?
Oh, I would say it was about 100% applying to jobs on like Backstage X, few on Reddit. I personally haven't had a lot of success on Reddit. Maybe a couple projects. I've gotten a good number of projects on from X, but Backstage is where I've gotten 80% of my projects, and still to this day, even though I'm reaching out to brands directly now, I still apply to a lot on Backstage. What I found with Backstage, and what's been great for me is that a lot of the posts, UGC posts on Backstage, are from agencies. And if I get accepted for a gig, then I deliver good content. They like it. and they just keep coming back. And I have some great relationships with agencies. In fact, the one that I'm going to work with out in Toronto, I found them on Backstage, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. And I think I've probably done 12, 13 projects with them since. And now they're flying me out to Toronto to shoot in the studio. So that's what I was doing before. Now, after watching a lot of the courses, after meeting with other team members, I've been doing a lot more direct outreach and using and honestly using some of the templates almost word for word that are in our classroom, and I've branded a little bit differently, tweaked them around like you should, right? Because it's you, not somebody else that wrote it. But yeah, I mean, I would say, and I think I even posted just a week or so ago that this August was the first month that my direct outreach to brands, the projects that I've received from those outweighed the projects I received from applying on Backstage or X or wherever.
I guess what was that mindset shift? Like, okay, going from like, before we met, going from like no systems really to you're on platforms, which did help and did help you grow. By all means, we're gonna give credit where it's due, but also implementing systems. Like, what was that mindset shift?
I think for me, it was more, it was in July, I think, when I had my first 20,000 month. But May, I broke 12, 10. I think I hit like 13 or something. And at that point, I was like, okay, like maybe I should start focusing more on this, because if I'm doing 13 kind of part time, then what happens if I, really put some more effort into it? And so for the mindset for me was, all right, I'm going to start approaching this really as a business. Like it's going to be more, it's not just a part-time thing now. This is going to be more of a full-time business. The other thing that really helped me is like when I started, I had zero guidance. Like I just kind of jumped in feet first. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go, see what happens. I didn't have any training. I didn't, I watched some videos on social media and I was like, oh, that seems pretty easy. I'll do this. But it was still kind of scattered, right? There wasn't any framework. And so I think with the academy, what really helped, and with going along with the mindset shift that I wanted to do this as a business full time, was having a structure, having a framework, having tools, and being able to implement systems that were able to help me grow. Just again, from May to now, this will be my second $20,000 month in a row, and August. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I could have done that without having some more systems in place to help automate and just help the business grow.
100%. And I appreciate that transparency. Like, systems are powerful, and you don't run a business, right, if you don't have systems. It's that simple. So I guess, like, what changed? Like, how did you find out about this different approach, these systems?
Well, some systems, a lot of it just from community chat in our group, right? I mean, we have a in our group we have so many experienced UGC creators that have been doing it for longer. We have new creators that are coming with fresh ideas. That all of our training sessions that we have, the calls where we have trainers and coaches. That for me, regardless if I'm making 20,000, 10,000 or more a month, I don't know everything. I'll never know everything. And so, if I see a new creator come into the group or anywhere, even on social media, and say, "Oh, wow, I did this and this worked," that's something I'm going to learn how to do or mimic, because if it's really working and they're getting these actual results, then let's try it. So I think that's another big mindset shift, is being willing to learn, to continuously learn. Even if you're doing really well, you can always do better if you learn something new to help. So yeah, our classrooms, our community chats, the information that we're receiving, the trainings, all of that has really helped me kind of learn how to implement these systems, put them in place to keep things moving forward.
How did you essentially find out about me? Like, do you call any specific piece of content that you read from mine where you thought, like, oh, that makes sense? Like, that's a new perspective, like, that I've never thought of before that I should try out.
Oh man, honest. A specific piece of content within the group, or how did you and I meet?
Yeah, like more outside of the group.
Well, you and I met on Reddit. I remember that. And I think we were just kind of commenting on some of the same posts that we saw, right? And I think there was, and again, I don't remember because this was a number of months ago, but I think there was just some good back and forth between us and a conversation or some comments on a post that we had both commented on, and then you and I started kind of chatting a little bit more offline, and then that's how we met, and I found out about you. So yeah, I like that you were. I mean, now that I know you, but even before, I liked that you were very active on Reddit and sharing a lot of free information, and I think that's probably what I mean. If I again don't remember exactly, but that was probably what attracted me to you and to the group was that you were providing a lot of information for free. And when I saw a post, it was like, oh wow, that's like a lot of information that's like pretty interesting and good to have. And I think that even drove me to click on the schooling just to kind of see what it was, because again, I didn't know you at that point. And then I saw all of the free trainings and the videos and all of the free information on there. And I was like, this is great. Yeah. So that was most likely what happened.
What was that first thing you learned that made you go like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this like wrong, I could be doing it better?
Without knowing 100% if this was what it was, I think a lot of it was more the rates. That's what it was. It was rates. I was at that point. I was probably I had some good rates, but I was charging 150 a video. And they were kind of one offs. I think for me, what really excited me was the business aspect of it. Like, hey, you should be you should be following up with the clients. You should be asking for metrics. You should be using this to drive new business to you and be able to share this. The other thing was that really resonated with me. I remember was providing more, right? Because at that point, like I got a brief and it was like, hey, talking head script, 12 B-roll shots. I would do those. I would submit it, done. And I remember in the classroom there was a training or a post or a video that was saying, hey, it's great, do that, but if you want to stand out, why don't you send them an edited video as well? Why don't you send them a reel as well, so that you can not only send the content that they requested, but look at, hey, I could do this for you. We can talk about having a different relationship and a different rate, but I can do a fully edited video for you, and I can do this. So I think I remember that specifically because I remember after doing that or reading that the next day, I actually did that, and the client and I got another project for like double the rate. And they said, hey, we want you to do this. Okay, cool. I was like, oh yeah, that actually works. So there were a lot of little things. I do remember that one. And then going back to the rates, I just remember again. Again, I had some rates they're really good. I did a VSL for like $2,500. Um, but in general, they were 150, 125, 175, 200. And then I started reading more and looking more at the rates and the offerings, and I was like, wow, I'm seriously underselling myself. And so that was a big thing too. And of course, since then, the rates have increased, and I was obviously I think like most people, I was afraid to push on those, but I think there was some interesting guidance and suggestions about pushing rates to clients or negotiating, I should say. And yeah, ever since then, and I haven't had any issues whatsoever negotiating rates. In fact, I don't think I've anybody had said no since.
I guess even around, I'm very curious, like as a coach, like around like that perspective, you went from not believing you could charge more rate for a video, right? Lower rates to understanding higher rates, right? So what did that mindset shift look like just for like a curious viewer watching this video?
I think it was realizing the value that I was providing to the brands, and then that little extra service, right? That I mentioned earlier. Because and look, I mean, honestly, this is the same for any kind of business. But if you're providing a service to a company, and your agreed upon rate is this much, and you provide extra value to that client, then of course they're going to come back. And when you do come back, and when they do come back, you've already won, because now you can say, hey, I'm really glad you like that. This last project was 250. I'd really like to do this next one for 350. I'll provide the same amount of value, and of course they're going to say yes. As so that I think was the biggest mindset. But again, I think the thing that really shifted for me was not being afraid to ask. Maybe in business, I've always been pretty forward, but I've known the business because I've been doing it for 20 years, right? Now with UGC, I've only been doing it for a year and a half, so it's kind of been like, I don't want to wreck this relationship with this agency because I've worked with them a lot. I don't want to ask for more money. It just happened a couple of days ago. Like I had an agency I've worked with on multiple projects, and they pay good, $400, $500 for one script, not, and they usually send me two or three at a time. And I went back, so we had some back and forth on a project I just finished a couple days ago, and they said, "Hey, we want you to submit a stitch clip together." And I said, "Oh, cool. Yeah, absolutely. No problem. I can do that. Do you want it fully edited? Do you want me to stitch the raw footage together?" I said, "No, we'd like it edited." I said, "Okay, cool. No problem. Look, here's my rates for a fully edited clip without a second thought. Like it didn't even mind my, oh man, I'm going to wreck this relationship, or they're going to come back, or they're going to be like, oh, he's getting greedy, whatever. No, nothing. They're like, okay, cool. We totally respect that. And that was it. Like it wasn't even a negotiation. It was just like, okay, cool. Yeah,
It was the
we can go
standard, it was
to
the bar.
yeah, exactly. That and I think having the confidence to do that, of course, having an experience and a little bit of a portfolio help, but having the confidence to be able to go to that to the brand or the agency and say, hey, we've worked together. I've consistently performed. My ads have done well. I'd like to increase my rate, and I love working with you. So
Yeah, for sure. And I'm glad that was so impactful for you. And that's about to be super impactful for the creators listening to this, understanding what kind of went through your mind and how you shifted that. That's awesome. So I guess like even for the brands watching this video right now, what would you say to a brand owner about your services or your specialty or your niche, and why brands should like choose you as a creator?
yeah, well, certainly nicheless. I mean, I've done everything from health and wellness to pets to lifestyle. I even did a women's supplement last week or 2 weeks ago that I found very funny. But and this is something that I've started doing that has been crazy successful for me. So I'll take Backstage again as an example because I still use that a lot. On Backstage, you'll see a post and it'll be male UGC creator and or it'll be a female creator, right? Obviously, if it's a female product, they usually target female creators. So what I've been doing is all of the female creator gigs I apply. And in my cover letter, I say, hey, I know I'm not a female, but what if we did a script from a husband's perspective or as a doctor explaining the benefits of this female product? 98% of the applications that I've sent have turned into projects just because of that one suggestion. The one I did last week, oh, that's such a great idea. Cool. Yeah, we can do that. You can be the husband talking about the problem that your wife was having and then how her confidence has grown since using this product and she's feeling better about herself and the relationship's better because she's more confident. I didn't even think about it. And the fun and when that first one happened, because I've already done a few prior, but when the first one happened, I was like, wow, that was cool. That was easy. Like, but it goes back into that return on the value add, right? Because most guys aren't even going to apply to those. But if a guy comes to you and says, "Hey, I was thinking, what if we tried an ad that was from a male perspective for this particular product or whatever it might be?" The brand or the agency starts thinking, "Oh, cool! Like maybe this person kind of knows what they're talking about. Maybe they have some creative ideas that we haven't thought about before because we focus on females." So yeah, that's been something that's really cool, and guys out there listening, even the girls, the women out there listening, it could switch the same way, right? I mean, I do a lot of health and wellness for like testosterone boosters or stuff like that. Do it from a female perspective. Oh, my guy turned into this like crazy monster in bed, and he's strong and he's confident. He's walking around, or all the girls are staring at him, right? I mean, you can go both ways. You just have to be able to reach out to them and pitch that perspective.
And even like with like your brands that you've worked with, are there any like crazy brands that you've worked with that you're like you always make sure, or you make sure to mention sometimes to other brands when you're trying to land collabs?
Not necessarily in my pitch emails. I have examples of brands I've worked on depending on based on who I'm reaching out to, right? So if I'm reaching out to a health and wellness brand, right, for male, then I usually include like two or three companies that I've worked with in that niche, right? And if I'm reaching out to a pet brand, I mention two or three ads and companies that I've reached out to in that niche. So So no specific companies. It's just tailored to whatever brand I'm reaching out to.
And then can you list like any like specific like results that you've driven for specific brands?
Right now, I haven't tracked so much yet. I've started to. I have ad views that I can do. I've had multiple ads hit multiple millions of views all on the Melted. I've had two ads that have hit over 5 million. I've had four that have hit over 2.5 million. I've had one or two that have hit 1 million, and then I've had multiple ones that have hit the high hundred thousands. But yeah, lots of ad views on TikTok for a good number of ads.
And for those like creators curious on like how you're so successful with UGC and how much you've like crushed it over the past like bit here, like how would you tell a creator maybe what you do that?
I think the first thing is the mindset shift, like we talked about at the beginning, right? If you really want to do this, you need to. And I understand that people have full time, especially if you're starting, right? You still have maybe a full time job, you have a family, you have other things going on. Even still, you need to treat this as a business if you want to be successful, right? If you just want to make a couple $100 a week, or a few, 1,000 a month, whatever it might be, right? You can really kind of just skate by probably. I mean, 1,000 a week is five $200 jobs, which you could get on Backstage or X or Reddit probably relatively easily. But if you want to take it to that next level, then yeah, you do have to treat it in a business. And with any business, there's investments involved, right? You have to invest in systems. You have to invest in systems. You have to invest in software platforms. You have to invest in apps or editing systems, right? But if you look at the price on those and the return on investment, it's staggering. I'll use Backstage again as an example. A pro annual membership for Backstage is like, I don't know, $50, $80, let's say. I don't remember exactly. You get 1 gig, you've already paid for it. If you get 5 gigs, you've paid for it times five. I mean, you need to think of ways like that. You can't think of it as like, oh man, it's $50. No, it's an investment in $1,000 this month, or it's a $50 investment for $2,000 this month, or even if it's a $50 investment in $100, you've still doubled your money, right? Or you've still paid for it plus $50. So you need to start thinking in business terms, not uh, I need to do this, because if you want to be successful, you will have to make some investments. They don't have to be big, but you will have to make some. So again, going back to that mindset, you need to turn your mind from just doing this as a UGC because I want to try it out to, hey, I want to make this into a business and I want to make some money, and then thinking like a business owner.
And that's a foreign concept to like the new creators out there even listening to this right now. Like Jared said, like having that business mindset of like putting things together that run for you on autopilot will drive the needle forward as it did clearly for Jared. So with that being said, Jared, like what do your systems look like right now? Like what, pitching systems, I guess we can start there. Do you have in your UGC business right now?
So I use a platform that's a virtual assistant platform, AI virtual assistant. So it's continuously reaching out to brands via email. And again, like I said, last month or this month, excuse me, we're still in August. This month was the first month. I've been using the system now for, I think, I want to say 4 months, $50 a month, right? But I mean, it's already paid for itself times like 20, probably more, way more than that, in fact. But yeah, so it has a virtual assistant. It helped the AI helped create all the templates. The system itself scrapes all the brands and the emails and everything, so I don't have to go and do any of that research or anything. And then it just sends them out. And again, if it reaches out a brand, let's say Pepsi, and it's like consumer goods or food and beverage, then it automatically will send the food and beverage template to that brand. If it's a pet brand, they'll send the pet template. And so it's just constantly regenerating leads and then sending emails out to those brands. And it's attached to my email, so I get the replies. And the good thing about this, and this is something I learned early on in recruiting, but I think again, most businesses, it's about networking, right? The more people you know, the more people you talk to, the more people you connect with, better chances are of getting some work in the future, if not now. So the one thing that I've liked about this is that even the people or the companies that reply and say, "Hey, we're not interested right now," or we don't have, or whatever it might be, of course, I have replies to all of these, but they all go into my CRM, right? I mean, these are all contacts that I can reach out to at a later date. Say, hey, you and I connected 5 months ago. Wanted to reach out, see if things had changed. Still love the brand. Would love to work with you. And, you can pitch a discount if you want, or what, or, a first time project if you want. But you're building that network of people and companies and brands that you can reach out to later.
Your experience kind of going through, learning about positioning and systems and proper negotiation strategies, even that we talked about early in this call, did they help your business? And if so, like how have they helped your business and grow your confidence and help you feel more prepared when you talk to brands?
Yeah, yes. I mean, short answer is yes, definitely. I had a relatively good background in business. I'd run an international business for 20 years. I had at one point 400 employees, right? So the negotiation part, but it was funny because I had more. When I started UGC, I had more challenges feeling confident negotiating a little rate increase of like $100 as opposed to negotiating, a $500,000 recruiting deal or recruitment outsourcing deal. I don't know. I don't know why there was a disconnect. Uh, Probably just because I was newer and I was starting and I wasn't as familiar. Yeah. So there was definitely some challenges there. But again, all of the initial videos that I watched when I joined our community were really helpful. That's the best way to answer it. They were just helpful. Like the information there, that's all free, by the way, is crazy. I remember when you sent me the link the first time. I think I watched your entire video collection that was on there. I can't remember how many were. I watched the whole thing in like one day. I just like started, kind of went down because I was like, this is really cool. And yeah, there was some stuff. There was stuff that I knew already or I'd done, but I was like, there was a lot in there that I just had never thought of. And that really helped me kind of shift that needle. Well, I should say it did help me shift that needle. And then, yeah, the last 4 months, last 5 months have just been crazy.
Yeah, and I'm glad it made such a big impact in your business, honestly. And clearly, it's like it's made an impact in the income that you've, made. So, what about like the actual content creation? Like, how do you approach that differently now since going through all of the coursing and going through everything? Like, what about the content creation?
I don't know if I necessarily approach the content that much differently. I have been Well, I will say this. I've had a lot more freedom now because now I'm creating my own scripts and instead of just getting the scripts from me. And the brands always say, "Hey, put your own spin on it. You do whatever you want." But now that I'm writing my own, when I'm writing them, I have this vision in my head of what I want. I envision the ad to look like or the project to look like. So there's been a lot more creativity. There's been a lot more risk taking. I did one just the other day where I wanted to shoot it in a very cinematic way, right? And the funny thing was the product itself was like a very positive, bright, calm focus type product. And I shot it as this like dark, grit. Like I shot the ad as like this dark and gritty. The beginning part was like really dark and gritty and exact opposite of what the product is. And then there was a moment in the middle where it kind of switched up a little bit and then moved into that positive where this person had this realization. But so I've been doing like fun stuff like that because I have a cinema background, and so I'm like going, okay, how can I take that background and that creativity and turn it into ads. So yeah, I've been a lot more flexible, a lot more creative, flexibility and freedom. But as far as the content shooting itself, no, not too much different. I still use my iPhone. Do you still use an iPhone? I still use the
100%.
same
It's not
mic that
rocket
I use.
science.
Yeah, same mic that I used, that I've been using for a year that I love. And I bought like, I don't know, Jesus, I bought 30 mics since then. And I still use the same one because it's the only one that actually works really well all the time. So yeah, but it's fun. But yeah, definitely now that I'm pitching more and receiving more brand deals from clients that I pitch to directly, I'm having a lot more freedom and a lot more fun, like creating the content that way.
And with that being said, like my follow up question is like, what other systems, like I know we already talked about systems and you use a lot of systems and you have, pitching systems going on. What other systems do you have kind of going on in the background? Maybe when you sleep, or what else is kind of moving in your business?
Well, the pitching one does it again 24/7, so that's sending stuff when I mean. So when I wake up, I generally have some replies. I have a project management software that I built called UGC Manager Pro. I use that for tracking all of my projects. I use it for invoicing. I use it for the CRM part or capturing the contacts. There's some other functions that we're building into it, but that has been insanely helpful. I don't know, but if Alex told you, but I was looking back. Yeah, I started using this on around July 1st, July 2nd, when I started using it personally. 128 projects since July 2nd. That's how many new projects I've received in 2 months. I don't even I looked at that number and I was like, that can't be right. And I looked at it and I went through and I looked through all the projects and I was like, yeah, that's actually how. And I don't even know how I've gone through all those, but I, I I'm I'm almost done right now with like my current ones that I had kind of backlogged. So yeah, I don't know how that actually happened, but it did. But again, shoot, I work full time. I'm doing it full time. I'm shooting, 3, 4 a day on the weekends if I can. I'll shoot a couple extras. I usually take like half of Sunday off, but I usually start shooting around 11 because the light in my house is amazing because the sun hits just right, so I can do natural light for talking heads, and it's crazy. So I usually start shooting 11. I usually stop around 6, maybe 5, depends on if I'm done. But the other good thing is as you do this more and more, you can plan your day around the shoots because you have a good estimated time of how long it's going to take. Right? I know this process. See, I look at the talking head, I see the B-roll. Yeah, it's going to take me an hour and 15 minutes. Right? Or this one's going to take, oh, this is a little more complicated. This one's going to take about 2 hours. So I can really plan on the calendar how I'm going to knock these out. Um, in a day, 3 or 4 a day. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So going back to your question, sorry, other systems. Uh, yeah, those are the ones I use. The UGC Manager Pros, and another one I use. Yeah, those are kind of my two main systems that I'm working with.
And if you found so much success with like these systems, like anyone watching this video, please start using them, right? Please start doing it. So, with that being said, Jared, like obviously you have insider information now that most UGC creators don't really have around like systems and pitching and positioning and everything like that. So, like, how does it feel to have access to a bunch of other coaches and professionals in the community who are actively hiring these UGC creators? For example, Alexander or Will, right? Brand owners, or even like Emily, creative agency owner. Does that give you like a fresh new perspective coming from people who are like hiring creators actually?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like they're the ones that we're pitching, right? Or they're the ones that we're applying to jobs online, right? So the insights that they provide, specifically in these two examples, invaluable. Like that's the information that we need as creators to reach out to the brands and say, hey, do I need to change my portfolio? Or this, they're telling us this is what we look for in portfolios, or this is what we look for in cold outreach emails, right? And if you go back to your portfolio and you're missing something, uh, fix it. Same thing with the emails. If you're sending email pitches and they're saying this is what we need or like to see, and your email doesn't have any of that, or maybe it's missing one or two things, add those, get it in there because they're literally telling us how to make money. So yes, absolutely. And it goes back to what I said earlier, right? This is a constant learning process. And if you're not in a group, if you're not in an academy, if you're not in a school or a community that's providing really great information to help you succeed and do what you want to do, then you're not in the right place. You need to get in there because that's what's going to make that shift from a couple hundred to 1,000 a month to $10,000 a month, or even 5,000. Like, look, for some people, $5,000 a month is life changing money. Like, that is life-changing money for a lot of people. Maybe even $2,000. I don't know, whatever your situation is. But you can hit that. For what I found is that once I hit 5,000, my mindset did shift a little bit. But 5,000, 10,000 was really easy, and then 10,000, 20,000 was even easier, right? And you hear that a lot in business, like the first big businesses, right? The journey from 1 million to 10 million is really tough. But once you hit 10 million, 10 million to 100 million is really easy, right? And we're talking big businesses. But it's the same thing. And I went from that 1 to 5,000. When I hit 5,000, I was like, oh, cool. And then 5 to 10,000 was like almost like within a month and a half. And then from that to the 5,000, 7,500 to 10 was quick. And then the 10 to 20 was within a month. So yeah, it's definitely there, and that coaching value and that information value, especially the people just telling you what you need to do. I mean, come on. I mean, if I had that when I first started a year and a half ago, I'd be clearing mid 10-figure months, so or mid 6-figure months. There we go. That's what I meant to say.
What was over the past like few months as we've been connected, like how what was your biggest like paid brand deal, and how did it feel to kind of hit that milestone?
Well, let's see. I would say that VSL I did is still my biggest one-off deal. $2,500 for just a VSL, a video sales letter for that don't know it.
How long were you filming?
I think I filmed for approximately 2 hours.
2 hours.
So it was long. It was like 20. It was like 30. It was 30.
$2,500 for 2 hours is not
Yeah.
bad.
Like I was like, what? When they told me how much? Well, because I charge by word also. So yeah, and just in case anybody wants to know, the average for a VSL is 23 cents, right? So you can go up or down depending on what you want to do. I charge a little more per. But at that time, I didn't. That time, I didn't know. They just said, "Hey, we'll just give you $2,500." I was like, "Okay." Put it in a teleprompter, and I just read. I kind of broke it down by like 2 pages. So I read 2 pages, would quit, read 2 pages because 38 pages all at once is not possible. Can't read it like that. So, but that was my biggest one. Second one after that, it was 1,600 for one my talking head video. It wasn't a VSL. It was talking head. It was about a full page and 1,600 bucks, and it took me all of maybe 45 minutes. So I think I posted that one in the community. That was the great. So here's another thing that I found. These little law firms, investment firms, trading companies, they pay way better than the other brands. I don't know why, but they just do. And so all of my well, no, it's just new. I just got a pet brand that's paid me 1,200 bucks for a video. Plus, they sent me a $900 product to go with it. Like rock and roll for a cat. I was like, cool. I get a cat video with my cat, and yeah. But these companies, all of my highest paying brands, excuse me, all of my highest paying deals have all been these little companies that nobody's heard of. Like nobody knows Anderson Advisors, right? Have been law firms, little trading companies, stock trading companies, brokerage companies, real estate. Those companies have been by 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 double or more paying more than these other brands that I've worked with. And the brands I'm working with, they're paying 400, 500 bucks, 600 bucks, 300. So it's not change, but it's these other companies play great. So if you can find those companies, absolutely. Yeah, those are great ones to work with.
Even like we met at that mark where you're making already around that 10K per
Yeah,
month
yeah. I
mark,
think I
right?
think right after we met, I think that month is when I hit my first 10K.
And then now you're hitting the 20, close to 25K months. So like that's a jump, right? And even though maybe most creators watching this video aren't in your shoes where you were before, but the fact that you jumped to 20, 25K per month, insane. So how has UGC even changed your life over the past, 3, 4, 5 months since we've met?
Oh man, well, I've been able to travel a lot more. You know, I've been in LA most of like almost half of the time. The last 8 months, I've been staying in LA, right? So um, I'm able to afford another place in LA. I guess that's one good thing because it's not cheap out there. Um, it's just been kind of a weight off, right? So like I said, I still have my other company and I still do a little work with them. So that's kind of a regular income that I've had for a long time because I've been running that for a while. But having this additional money has just been, my son's turning 16, so hey, yeah, cool. Now I can get him a better car, or I can get myself a new car and give him my old one, whatever it might be. We can take trips. It's just been, and things of course are more expensive right now, just in general. So it has definitely been a weight off my shoulders, and it's been just kind of like it just hasn't been a concern as much. Financially, it's been great, and I've been able to pay off some things early that I wouldn't have been able to before. So yeah, I look, anytime you come into a little extra money, it's going to help whatever your situation is. Even if you're wealthy or you're not so wealthy or anywhere in between, you come into extra $20,000 a month, it makes changes. It's definitely a change.
100%. And how does it feel like, even in general, to make money online with UGC? I feel like there's a big gap for people transitioning into online business, and you're able to be profitable with it.
I think that's probably the most exciting for me because I've tried everything at one point, right? Affiliate marketing and I don't know, anything that like was like bells and whistles, like, ooh, I'll give this a try. The only problem with those is I never put in the effort. Like I was like, I try it, I buy the course, I go through the course, and then after that I'd be like, yeah, whatever. This UGC I did because I enjoy it. Like it's fun. Like I like being in front of the camera. I like doing, on our last podcast that you and I talked about, B-roll, I said it was a bane of my existence. I've changed. I actually enjoy doing B-roll yesterday. In fact, just in general, yesterday I was doing a knife brand, and all of the B-roll was like pretend you were playing with a sword. So I felt like a kid. I was like swinging with the knife, and I was like, yeah, I was playing like samurai and like lightsaber and Jedi knights. It was so much fun. But I've learned, I've forced myself to enjoy it more, and because I did that, it's been more fun to shoot, and now I have more fun with it. And I also just started doing, you know what? Here's the example they gave me. It's super boring, so I'm going to do the exact opposite because I want to do something that's fun and exciting. So I've been doing B-roll shots from above. I bought a drone. I put the drone above me, and I do the B-roll shot from a bird's eye view looking down. It's like looks so much cooler. And the brands that I've been sending new B-roll to, they're like, "Oh my god, this is so cool! Thank you so much. This is not what we expected, but we love it." And so that's been fun. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun. Like you have to have fun with it. And I think that was one of the things that I've been missing in the last, sorry, my eye itches. I don't know why I keep touching myself. That's one of the things I've been missing with this business that I've been in for so long time. Is like I did really well with the business, but it's just not fun. And I didn't enjoy it anymore. And so this was a great outlet. And then as I started getting better, as I started making a little more money, I'm like, wow, I'm actually doing all of this and I'm having fun at the same time while doing it. So you can't beat that.
And I like that point of like, yo, like just because you don't like certain things about UGC doesn't mean it has to be unenjoyable, right? Like you can turn it into something that you like to do, and that's an abundance mindset right there, which is something that every creator should have. And it makes sense why you have it, because you're making 20-25K per month right now, right? So with that being said, Jared, like what's next for you? Like where do you see your business going now?
Well, I guess my next target is 30 financially. Uh, the few things that I'm doing for that is, as I said, I've already started raising my rates. I've been doing a lot more of the direct outreach. I'm making a lot more deals with that, and I generally charge more for those because those are cold pitches, and so I can negotiate the rate easier and better. Um, Mentoring and coaching, we've talked about that, and that's something that I'm super excited about. I think I'm going to start. I'm going to be much more active on social media. Generally my social media has always been just kind of me. When I go and film or do something, I do some shots of me being on set. But I think now I'm going to start really being a lot more proactive in UGC, right? I want to start making more content that's UGC focused for beginners, for people that have been doing it a little while that want a different perspective. Start pitching the UGC Manager Pro software as well on that. So that's definitely getting so growing my personal brand. I guess that's the better way to put it. So I'm doing that. What's that?
I said taking to the moon, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, hey, why not, right? So yeah, that's definitely, I mean, financially is taking it to 30 because that's my next target. Personal brand growth, training and mentoring will definitely be in there. Constant learning, learning new stuff all the time. How do I improve this? How do I edit this better? How do I film this better? How do I pitch brands better? I mean, all of this is constant, and it's also changing, right? I mean, social media changes all the time. So what things that are working right now might not be working in 4 or 5 or 6 months, right? There might be shifts in something that require a change or a new.
Even on that note, like how do you see the UGC industry evolving over time, especially with AI?
Look, I love tech. I love AI. Like I've been playing with AI for a long time. Like I was one of the beta testers for ChatGPT. So I've been doing this. I've been playing with it for a long. I think brands that want authenticity in their ads will continue to hire creators, right? And I think most brands will. I do not think that brands are going to go 100% in on AI. There might be some, sure, everybody, right? I do think though that the results they'll see won't be as positive as if they used real creators, right? So there might be a switch back. So maybe we'll see kind of like a mountain, right? Or a dip. Maybe we'll see like, brands start using AI and so the creator kind of jips a little bit and then they don't see the results and so they start, oh, we need to go back to, and so it'll come up like a little roller coaster, right? But look, I use AI a lot. Like I don't use it in my videos per se, except for sometimes I want to say, for example, that video I mentioned earlier. I wanted a scene of people clapping, like a small group of people clapping in like a support meeting situation, right? In Alcoholics Anonymous or something like that, the support group. So I used AI on Canva to create a little 8-second clip of people clapping, and I used 2 seconds of it, right? But it was amazing. And it completed the video because the whole point of the video was this guy talking about his experience in front of this group. And then, he had this positive change and then, and says the punchline. And then, it cuts to the group clapping and it finished the video. So AI as a tool is amazing for creators. There's AI editing tools where you can take your content, put it in the system, and it edits and builds the video for you. And it can put in B-roll, it can, or not B-roll, it can put in images if you want, and you can change those images with something you have, or it can, if you don't like the clip, you can just take the clip out and put in the new one, just replace it in like that, right? Instead of having to like draw it out, delete it, go through. I mean, AI is a crazy powerful tool for us as long as we embrace it and we use it the right way. Like I would never make a video of myself in AI for a brand unless they asked for it, I guess. But using it to make the processes better. My pitches, my email pitches, it's an AI system, right? The AI is sending that out constantly. That is using AI in a positive way. So yeah, it'll definitely be great for us, for everybody, but for creators too. Um, I don't think we're going to be replaced at all because I still think brands want authenticity. And yes, AI is amazing. You can make some videos that look completely real, but you you can't replace the authenticity, and people know the difference.
And it's more so another abundance mindset of like bringing, it's not opposing, it's bringing AI with us, right? If AI starts like taking over the whole UGC industry, take it with us as creators, and we can start utilizing and building our own, different angles in the UGC space, which is awesome. What kind of you're talking about? So I guess like speaking more on like mentorship, you talked about mentorship and coaching and everything like that. Like my question to you is, how important was having mentorship in this transformation to hit 25K per month with your UGC business?
Yeah, extremely important. Like it helped a lot in more on the mental mindset side, right? It definitely helped with finding out about more some of the systems and how to implement those and some of the basic stuff. But yeah, for me, I think it was more the mindset shift and having listening to somebody and talking to somebody about uh, how I needed to change my mindset, right? Approaching it as a business was a big one for me because I hadn't thought about that. Yes, I knew it was a business. I was invoicing brands and I was, doing this. So yeah, it was a business, but it having that mentorship and going through some trainings and being on some of these calls was really what drove it home, right? And so yeah, 100% important. And again, like I said, I like to be on the calls. You have to be consistently learning. You have to be consistently improving if you want to be successful in anything. But you do specifically for this. So yeah, 100% important. Helped me shift my mindset, helped me grow the business in the last few months, and so yeah, it's important.
Would you recommend this path to like other creators? And if so, like why?
If I told you if I had this when I started, I would be I would have been hitting $30 months ago, right? So yes, 100%. The community, the academy, all look. If you want to go from zero to, I don't know, let's think big, right? If you want to go from zero to or from 0 to 5K to 0 to 10K, uh, you can go the route that I did, which was just tons of hustle, throwing everything out that you could possibly do, taking as many jobs as you can that were $100 just to build and build and build. Or you can say, hey, let's join a group that's already implemented this, that knows how to do this, that can help you build from 0 to 5 to 0 to 10, can help you implement those systems at the start so you don't have to figure them out on your own. Plus, have a huge community of people that support you and constant trainings and learning sessions and mentorship. Oh, absolutely. I mean, come on, it's a no brainer.
What was your essentially like biggest doubt before making the commitment into yourself around like coaching and mentorship? And what would you say to others who might be dealing with this same struggle that are watching this video right now?
My biggest doubt on what?
Your biggest doubt before making the commitment into yourself around like the coaching and the mentorship, and what would you say to others that might be dealing with the same struggle?
So I might come at it from a different side, and then I'll on people that are just starting. So I came into it already having some success, right? I mean, I was already doing 5K, let's say, or a little more a month. Um, so so the so there wasn't a doubt for me. There was maybe a little bit of ego, like, hey, I'm already making 5K a month. Hey, I just made 75. I just made 7,500. What more do I what am I going to learn, right? So there's maybe a little bit of ego coming from my side, um, which was quickly squashed because when I got in, when I was reading and going through some of the trainings and looking at some other stuff, I was like, oh man, like I wish I would have had this a long time ago because this would have helped greatly. So so when it comes to doubt, I think it was more kind of a personal, like, oh, I kind of already know, or I don't need this, and I think a lot of people do that with stuff. If I was new, I guess I would have a few doubts. Well, no, I wouldn't have a few. I would be more maybe concerned on value. Like, if I'm going to invest in something, I want to see the results. Will I see those results? I think there's also a big confidence thing, right? Am I good? I see a lot on TikTok about people talking about, oh, I can't be in front of the camera. I'm not comfortable. I don't have presence. I don't feel comfortable being in front of the camera. There's a big confidence issue. Uh, and 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 I totally get that. I mean, I understand it. I used to be like that before. So you're gonna come with a lot of personal doubt. You're gonna come with a lot of financial doubt. You're gonna come with a lot of brands aren't gonna hire me. Professional doubt, let's say. And but I think our academy and I think our community will quickly squash all of those doubts. The community is going to help on the personal side, right? There's such a supportive group of people. As I mentioned, there's people from all stages of UGC, just beginning, never done a video before, to people like myself or people in between, right? And it's a very active community where we're talking, we're chatting, we're giving advice, we're giving suggestions, we're helping. We had that call just you and I, I think last week with David, right? And he mentioned that same thing. He was having like a crisis of confidence. And I think when he got off that call, after we talked to him, I think he got off that call and felt really good. And I think he just landed a brand deal, because I saw on Instagram yesterday he was pitching a brand. So I don't know if it was an example. It didn't say example, so I don't know if he landed it. But I think I've seen two projects that he's done since that call, which I amazing, right? And both of them were really good. He did a good job. So that's going to be the personal side. On the professional side, I think the trainings, the trainings, the mentorship, the calls, everything is going to come from the academy and our group, right? I mean, you have it all. You don't need to do it on yourself. We'll give you the tools, the systems, and show you how to implement that so you can reach out to brands confidently. And then on the financial side, look, as I said before, this is business. And if you want to do this, you need to invest. You need to invest in yourself, and you need to invest in the business itself, meaning tools and trainings or software systems or whatever it might be. So those are the three doubts, and I think all three of them are easily, what's the word? Squashed, easily squashed within our community, because you're going to have three different pillars that are going to help all three of those. And if you invest in something, like I said, with Backstage, if you invest $50, but you make $1,000 because of jobs you get on Backstage, it's a pretty dang good return on an investment. So yeah, those are the doubts that I think are going to come up, and I think all three of them will be well met within our group.
Yeah, for sure. And then honestly, I've really enjoyed this call so far. And hearing about your story is very inspiring. And hopefully, anyone watching this video, drop a like or a comment if you resonate with anything or if you learned anything. With that being said, Jared, where can people follow your journey, like on social media?
Yeah, so Instagram is jaredbrubaker.com, spelled out DOTGCOM, jaredbrubaker.com. TikTok is hat and beard, very easy. Those are the two platforms I'm most active on. I'm on X as well. It's Jared W Brubaker on X, but yeah, TikTok and Instagram are my most active platforms. So that's where I'm posting the most and where you can find me. And then the software I built, ugcmanagerpro.com, super easy to remember. And again, for those that might not have missed it, that's a UGC platform that I built specifically for UGC creators to help track projects, um, finance, help track their financials. Amazing. Invoicing, you can create invoices and send that. And we've got a lot of, the AI studio. I totally forgot that was in there. So I built a GPT, we integrated it into the system so you can actually build and create and write scripts in the system using UGC Manager Pro Studio. and that's right in there as well. So yeah, you can just all in one place. You got a brand deal, you put in the info, the brand name, the money, how much it costs, the brief, and then you can just go ahead and write the scripts right there, and you're off and running.
That's awesome. So guys, go give Jared a follow. Like, Jared, I don't know if you're processing how much value you dropped on this call. I'm like, yeah, you dropped so much value. Guys, the least you can do is like give Jared a follow for all of the value. He's not even not just bringing on this call and in the communities, but also like in the UGC space in general with the software that he launched. Like, it's solving so many problems for creators. So again, go give him a follow. But in recap, Jared, like, thanks so much for hopping on. Like, this podcast has been awesome learning about your journey, and I'm sure it's going to make a big, ripple effect in the UGC industry.
I hope so. Thank you very much for having me. I've enjoyed it immensely also, and I will see you on the other side.